Today I'm speaking with Eliza Mukhey, and Eliza is a lead analyst at iQuanti in Bangalore, India, and she has over 8 years of experience in the analytics domain. Today we're talking about why analysis. This episode is made possible by our partners Chameleon and Online Influence Institute. My name is Guido Jansen and welcome to the CRO Café podcast. Hey, thank you so much for joining the CRO Café podcast. And of course, first we would love to know a bit more about you, what you do, your background and how you got involved with CRO.
So first of all, thank you for having me here. And like you guys know, my name is Eliza and I'm working in analytics domain and analysis domain for last 7.5 years or more. And I enjoy analysis. Like that is, I think my knowledgeable mind is quite dominating maybe. So getting into CRO was not a straight plan, right? It was like all I wanted to do something more meaningful, analyzing, identifying the problem and get into there. And with time, I figured, okay, CRO is a great domain for me because it's not only looking into the data, it's also covering the, how to solve the problem. That's the interesting part. So you kind of balance out left and right brain constantly. You have to be very creative as well. So I think that is how things got into my way. And I started taking those opportunities. Sort of, I thought I'm in a great place right now, I guess, because I enjoy CRO thoroughly. It's not like boring data analysis.
Yeah, exactly. It's applied, right? So it's analysis, which can be fun in itself, but it's nice that it's applied to an actual business situation.
Right, and the fun part is in our generation, we want to see the result immediately, and when a A/B test goes live, you can just see, okay, it's working, it's not working, you get it, right? Yeah. So our generation needs quick feedback, and this is something very interesting which CRO sort of caters us.
Yeah. So, and then what is your background? So, did you study anything on the analytics side or the math side, or how did you get started in analytics in general?
So, I am a BTech in computer science engineering, and then I started with coding, but I was not my forte, I figured, and I moved into, analysis where I started knowing about Six Sigma, Lean theory, and that's how I started moving this way. Yeah.
Nice. And then somehow CRO happened.
Somehow CRO happens. Yeah, it was before being a CRO, like it was like 4 years I'm in CRO. Before that, I was into complete analysis where we used to do Lean theory and yellow belt and SWOT analysis. And I think CRO is analysis. So CRO has it's a vast topic, right? And I was asked to analyze a website. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like the day I was asked, I'm like, okay, people don't want to buy. That's it. But now when I see a website, I'm like, oh, this is the reason they're not buying. Let's fix this.
Yeah.
So that's day one. When I saw a website, I'm like, okay, I don't want to buy. Why are you forcing me to buy? But now I'm like, okay, we need to fix this.
How do you go about finding that why? With data analysis, at least when you look at things like Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics or those kind of an analysis tool, they are great at telling you where something is going wrong, or maybe which particular element is going wrong, but you still don't know why.
Right. So that's the fun part, actually. So you get the data that gives you the problem area, that gives you an it helps you to identify, okay, this is the page may have a problem because I see a drop-off, I see a bounce rate, right? But now your YY analysis comes to the place, which was in my early career. So I start digging into things and start understanding the behavioral analysis. And that is where, this is something I'm learning in the current organization, how to understand who are coming to your website through, SEO and what are the keywords they're looking for? Are we catering what they are looking for? So that's the fun part, okay? So the paid campaigns that we are running. So that is where when you get the data, okay, this is the place I need to focus on. And then you start looking into the behavior of the user. Like I have a demographic that is from data that 55 over people are on my website. So I start looking out into the universe and try to figure out what is the behavior they will show if they are on the. You as a person will not show the similar behavior on a fashion website and also on a mortgage website and also on a life insurance website. Your behavior will change. And that is where you learn and you have to read a lot, understand people, observe everything.
And do you then combine your work with colleagues that maybe are more on the behavioral side, or how does that work?
So we do have a brainstorming session and we sort of question each other. So if I'm saying, so this is how I quote a statement, right? I think this, let me just take an example that will make our life easier. So we're on a fashion website and we are catering our generation, let's say. And we are seeing there's a huge drop off from the product page, right? And now I think because the size chart is not placed correctly, that's why people are dropping off, okay? But that's my assumption. So again, we are still hypothesizing, we are still assuming. Now, how data help us give us problem area. If we have the liberty to track the click rates, amazing. Then you are spot on. You're like, okay, this is the problem I need to fix. But if you don't have that liberty, that's when we run survey. It's a validating. If I don't have the liberty to run survey, then we need to shortlist what are the problems that a person can face and sort of have a brainstorming session. Yes, we have people from different departments, and I also try to learn myself how to analyze the behavior. So it's a learning process. You just gather experience with time, with mistakes, with A/B test going wrong, and all of that helps you to grow eventually.
Yeah, most of the A/B tests going wrong, or at least not having the expected uplift that you always want. But
I have a record of having good success rate, by the way. So and you do competitor analysis as well. So that's also, so the idea is to validate whether you do it through your experience or market research or competitor analysis. Just validate, and I think you will get good success rate in the A/B test.
Yeah. And so you work at Quanti, which is an agency providing these services for clients. Do you see certain type of clients or certain verticals, industry verticals, where what you do works especially well, or the other way around, where it doesn't work as well as you'd hope?
So I'll keep iQuanti as the side because it's a huge market that we're targeting, which is the banking side. Right now, I'm working on that. In my last org in ConvertCard, I had the liberty to work with a lot of, industries. So there I saw a A/B test, for example, sticky add to cart. I can just take the name. It was well validated. It worked in certain websites. It did not work in other websites. Similar kind of people are there. So that was interesting. That's where we started digging deeper and understand the case study. And what we found, though that's where my experience I came from. I am the same person looking into XYZ industry and ABC industry. I'm not behaving the same way. So basically, you cannot run the same A/B test in both. Even if you feel, so like I just now lock my feeling and thinking aside and validate more. So that's the thing. Yeah.
Yesterday's brainstorm was so good. I really liked Steph's idea of running that test on the call to action buttons. Making them orange will really make them stand out, don't you think?
Yeah, right. Do you want to design real A/B test winners and achieve enormous conversion uplift? Then stop brainstorming and take a scientific approach. If you can read Dutch, follow the steps in Online Invloed, the bestseller on managementbook.nl. Or enroll in the author's course and become an expert in applying proven behavioral science yourself. Go to onlineinfluence.com for more information and free downloads. Okay. And are there, what are the industries? Do you also see industries that are way more eager or more open to do this kind of work, like CRO and being more data driven, and that are easier to get started with as an agency side? I mean, you get all these different clients, and I can imagine that some are more open to doing this, and some need way more convincing. Still need to build that culture of experimentation.
Yeah. So last organization, it was 4 years back when, 2018, 17. I think CRO was very niche. People were getting into this industry, and I know how much a sales team had to push to convince them.
Yeah.
But now people are getting aware with, right now, if I look into LinkedIn, for example, we have so many forums around CRO, and people are worried. Now, what we were doing till date was working on SEO, working on paid campaigns, working on marketing channels. That is all to bring the customer. Now what? You have the customer.
Yeah.
You have the visitor. Now what should we do? That's where, we experts come into the place, and we sort of, okay, let's do this, let's do that. So yes, it was difficult, I think, a few years back, but now people are understanding. I'm spending a lot of money to get them on the website, and then I'm not able to I'm not getting the ROI of it if I'm not able to convert them. So it's no point.
I think it's beneficial for a CRO if acquisition gets more and more expensive, because then companies start reevaluating. Okay, it's really expensive to get those visitors on my website. Maybe we should actually make sure that they have a high chance of converting when they get there.
So now it's very interesting. Okay, previously we were okay, there's a branch CRO we should start taking care. Now we are. I just see this in last 1 year in iquanti as well. We have become very important. SEO doing something, they come and run those copy through us. Marketing channel doing something. Do you think this is right? So that is how our relevance, our importance is getting into the picture. Even UX UI. I think it's at times I get this question asked. So how CRO is different from UX UI? It's way different. We are data driven, and then we say, okay, then we take UX UI's perspective and then we merge that, right? But people think, okay, let's do some content change, let's do the CTA change, and that will bring us a lot of conversion. That's wrong. So I think that was the impression a few years back, but not now. There is a lot of change in industry I observed. For example, every quarter or every half yearly, we sort of make a roadmap to align with the business goal. Not only here in my last org as well, we started introducing that, and they loved it. All the industry loves it because, okay, this is my business goal. I want to raise my revenue by so, and CRO has clear maths on this. Yep. And then we say, okay, we have to do this, and then you can do this. So let's get into this plan, and that's where things gets interesting. And that's where I think it was like, previously it was like, okay, let's change this and let's see how it works. And now it is like, how do we stick into the business goals along with CRO? And that is where the strategizing comes into the picture. It's a fun thing.
Yeah, I think for with SEO, SEA, and SEM in general, it's getting more. It's getting harder and harder. It's like a more commodity, more like a requirement for doing business, but it's not. It's really hard to stand out by doing that really well, because a lot of companies are doing that really well. So of course you still need to do it, but it's really hard to really stand out. And then more and more companies are trying to stand out more on the CRO side and actually providing an experience that works.
Correct. So now people are looking towards the quality, and along with the quantity. So it was like, oh, I get it. Now I think people are looking for, okay, I have this much visitors. Now how many are actually converting? If I have 100 visitors and 50 converting, I'm great. But if I have 1,000 visitors and 5 converting, I'm not great. So CRO comes and helps there.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm curious. So you have an analyst background, and the fun thing about CRO is I think no one studied CRO, so we all have different backgrounds and ending up in CRO. So what with your background as an analyst, what worked really well to get you on the CRO path? What are the I don't know, courses, books, events that really helped you get going in this field?
Okay, so I'll start with like this. When I entered the last company in ConvertKart in I was introduced to Pep Laha, and he is my guru. So I think he gave a lot of perspective about the importance of microcopies, importance of placing some CTs in certain way. And then I realized here is so vast that I think you can just read any book and just analyze yourself and start embedding it. So it's not always I'm reading about CRO or always listening to podcasts related to CRO. It's multiple things I read, I listen, I hear people, I understand their thoughts. I think I've become more open in accepting people and their ideas so that, I can understand, okay, this is a group of people I haven't addressed in my analysis yet. So I think that is the growth I had. And something did not work initially was I was still thinking and feeling. And now I think that was where my mentors and everybody, don't think, don't feel, you have to validate it. And I think that was the tough time I faced in the early phase of CRO career to sort of prove my statement. Now it's easier because I know I will be asked these questions, but initially it was so difficult. Everybody is saying, yes, I know this will work, but I am not convinced. I'm like, okay, how will I explain you? I'm showing you data. I'm showing you behavior analysis. I'm showing you competitor things. I am going everywhere. I'm listening. Look at this article. But it was difficult. Again, the resources were also less that time compared to now. And that is how I think my learning happened. And proving my point was the thing. And when I actually could, and when I got the statistical significance, and I'm like, okay, I'm confident now, I'm the boss, kind of a feeling. But it was fun. The learning was always fun. And I think I'm still learning so much.
Yeah, you say resources are getting better and better now. So what would your advice be for like a new analyst? So someone with an analyst background already, but not familiar with CRO yet and would like to start in this area. What would be your advice for them to get started?
Yes, so that is something we do. Someone who has no CR experience, the first thing I approach is study the website. I give a website and just come up with any heuristic ideas. You think it's not working, we're not here to judge you. Just come up with it. The more you come up, the better it is. Now, once they have a list of like 40 things that it's not working out, or maybe 4 things, go pick up the data and validate if it's working or not. When they validate, when they start marrying the data with the statement, and that becomes easier for people to sort of understand, I'm heading towards the right direction or not. See, solution can be, I think, endless. But the problem identification, I think one of the gurus, I would say, Albert Einstein, a lot of things that he says, one of them is like, you have to spend 55 minutes to find the problem and 5 minutes for the solution. And I think as CRO, I have started sticking to that more than into the solution. What happens, I'll tell you, the tendency of a newbie in the CRO has that, okay, we need to fix this, we need to fix that, we need to fix this, we need to fix that. But we are not talking about fix here. We are first talking about the problem. Then we'll move to fix. But once they understand, okay, my problem is this, and I have X, Y, Z fix for it. Okay, let me put X, and let's see how it works. And then you sort of prioritize the solution. That is always my advice. List the problem, married with data, and then move to solutions. Not the other way around.
Talking to the world's greatest optimization experts here at CRO Cafe convinced me that there are just 2 features that separate a good from a great optimization platform. It must make optimization easy for your whole team, and it must scale. Chameleon does both. It's a single unified web and full-stack experimentation platform with AI-powered personalization and feature flagging. I especially like Chameleon Hybrid, which lets you continue to use any client-side MarTech you like to help build and analyze server-side tests without relying on developers. Learn more about Chameleon at www.kameeleoon.com.
Yeah, I think that's a very good tip, right? We're all very, I think, eager to look at, okay, what's the solution? How can we fix this as soon as possible without actually understanding what the actual problem is?
This is in our life as well. Like, you'd start talking to me about your problem. I'm like, okay, listen, what you have done wrong is this. We are not even listening where we're not even doing RCA properly. It's in our life as well. I think a lot of PSIP, like problem identification solution, is so related to our lives as well. So that helped me, I guess.
Yeah. Really good tip. Any book or course tips you would have for new analysts?
Yes. So one book, I think, I started my career reading was from Pep Laha. I'll just get the book's name.
Yeah.
The Master Essentials of Conversion Optimization Expert Approach. That's by Pep Laha. And another book is, I don't remember the author's name. It's How to Optimize the Landing Page. It's a nice one. It's because optimizing website and landing page is two different story. So yeah, there are a few books, and there are plenty articles on CXL, CRO Cafe podcast. So we have so many resources here and there. So yeah.
There's the landing page optimization book from Tim Ash. I'm not sure if that's the one you mean.
So. I think so. It's quite thick book.
Yeah. And the one from Pep, I mean, that's of course the master, the essentials of conversion optimization. That one's also freely available. It's as a PDF. So we'll link to that in the show notes, so everyone can have a look if you don't know it yet.
Absolutely.
What are the things more in general when you work with people in CRO? Do you see some misconceptions, or the things that you see as an analyst might be very obvious to you, but other people in CRO don't find that obvious when working on client challenges?
So I broadly see one thing is something that I'm also learning is to avoid data, like just to address the problem area. At times, if you dig deeper, you actually get the problem as well, like I said. But this is a tendency I see. We quickly jump into the solution to fix it and do it fast. So I think that is something I'm learning myself as well, along with the other folks. So yeah, that is one thing. And another thing is everybody has a perception. It's important to listen to everybody's perception. So I may be looking at one thing in one angle. So it's so difficult to make unbiased decision. My culture, my thoughts, my experience may come into the way and say, no, Elisa, you're right. But I'm not even thinking that, okay, the other person, whatever perception is he or she is giving, it's so true. So I think, again, a course that would help, it's in LinkedIn Learning, is unbiased decision making. It helped me tremendously because that's when I started broadening my mind and started looking things in a very different angles in different times. So analysis is not like I'm sitting right now in 2 hours, I can tell you what's going to happen. It takes a couple of days as you went. Every time with new eye, if you see, you'll get a better understanding about things. Another thing, people say I'm very bored looking at the same website again and again because I'm not getting anything. So that's for the very new person coming to CRO. They're like, okay, I have told you what's there and what's next. I'm like, that's when you need to give them these courses, and they're like, okay, now it's getting interesting.
Nice, yeah, and being aware of your own biases, that's really it's hard to do, and it's something you need to keep in mind to do every time again, and also with like we just said, with trying to figure out what the actual problem is instead of diving into the solution. That's also something you need to train, right? That's something that's a way of thinking that you need to train and that you hopefully acquire over time.
Correct. That's so true.
Nice. Elisa, thank you so much for sharing your way of working with us. My final question will be, what do you think would be a good guest for our next podcast?
I would go ahead and nominate Arjun Manohar. I'll link his LinkedIn profile to you. Yeah. He is working on his own on behavioral analysis, and he has amazing insight about how the behavior of different visitors in terms of economics and everything. He's a great guy. So yeah, he was one of my mentors, and he can give a lot of insight around CRO and behavior.
Good to know. Then we'll have him on the show hopefully soon. We'll invite him, talk to him, and then get him on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Guido. It was nice to talk to you.
Thank you, and have a nice day, and good luck optimizing.
Thank you. Same to you. Have a great day ahead.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode. And as always, you can find the show notes for this episode on our website, www.zero.cafe. Talk to you next time, and always be optimizing.